Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Let's Make a Model Dark Angels Restorative Edition Part 3, I think. And this is that same model we've seen before. The parts I said I was going to do before are done. I did the eyes and I did the cloth. And you can see the eyes there. I did them in General Splatten's mode with the silver with a wash over it. And I did Bowel Red wash here. Once you get the hang of doing this technique, the eyes are so much easier to do and a lot less of a hassle. So you can check out General Splatten's channel for the tutorial on that. The cloth is of my own kind of formula. It's how I like to do it. It's quick and doesn't require much skill in terms of doing it. Like I don't do any wet blending or blending. It's dry brush work with a wash. What I do is I first put like a brown or a tannish, slightly reddish brown down on the on the cloth. Then after that, I put down a nice coat of white. Get a nice solid coat of white on there. The white just covers a bit easier over that than it does black. If I was doing white armor stuff, accents like that, I would do shadow gray followed by white. I do it that way for armor, I do it this way for cloth. Then for cloth, since I'm not going for white cloth per se, I'm going for this type of color, this kind of cream bleach bone-esque type of color. After I get the nice white wash, I hit it with a nice white paint color on there. I hit it with a wash of Griffin Sepia. I don't hit it with a super heavy wash of Griffin Sepia, but a nice liberal wash of it. Just enough so it's not pooling terribly. You know, gravity will pull some of it down. But when it dries, I make sure to dry it upside down. That'll get the color to pool into more natural spots. It'll be a bit more natural to have a darker pooling up here than down at the bottom. So I do that for both sides. At the same time, I dry it upside down. Then what I do is I hit that with a dry brush of bleach bone, a heavy dry brush of bleach bone, to get into all the little areas. Not to cover it completely, but to just get it kind of build up a gradual layer looking type of thing. And I go in one direction and I just went downwards and I kept hitting it until I got the look I desired on both sides. Then I took Skull White after this was completely dry and after the paintbrush was completely dry again, and I did a dry brush the same way, a much lighter dry brush, a much more fine type of dry brush over the very edges and everything, to get this effect. It's not as smooth to some people as layering slash blending is, but it's a lot quicker, a lot easier to do. You don't have to worry about blending, and to be honest, I don't really know how to blend paint on the model. I've seen people do it hundreds of times, just can't do it. Also, because of the slightly coarser look, I think it still looks fine, by the way, what I do. Definitely looks good to me. When I picture Space Marine cloth especially, I picture kind of a heavy weave, maybe some metal weave in there. I forget there's some fluff on Space Marine robes. But I picture it to be more of like a coarser material than like a fine silk robe, for example. So, at least in general for Space Marine stuff. And with that, I think the dry brush effect gives it kind of that coarser look while not being, not taking away from cloth. It definitely looks cloth-like as opposed to just being armor looking. But there is a difference in look when you do your stuff up. So that's the two things I did to the model. What's next? Well, what's next is to paint up the armor color. You notice I didn't do any of the purity seals, any of the other detail work. I do that after the armor color is completely done. That's just the way I do things. I like to do the cloth first because my dry brushing technique gets the armor kind of dirty with paint, as you can see there. And I left that there because I wanted to show you that's how I do it. And I'm not worried of getting the paint where I got it because I can clean that up. So the next step is to get the green armor color down, the foundation for the green armor color down. The way I paint up my green armor for Dark Angels is similar to how Awesome Paint Shop did it in his tutorial that he has online, which is why I have that favorited. just for ease of reference for myself in case I want to look at it again. It's a bit different though, and I only follow a similar type of concept for the green armor. Everything else I do my own way. But he starts off with a white base coat. I do a black base coat. The white base coat has advantages. I just can't get a nice white undercoat that I like, so I go with black because I can get that. So I put Catachan green over the black. Now it may take a couple of coats to put it over a black undercoat than I would over a white. But that's what I do. I get the Catachan green and I make sure I'm careful not to get it on the cloth, but I make sure I cover the entire model. The entire model in terms of armor gets covered. I don't try and miss the areas with the armor lines. I cover everything. After that, I hit it with a black wash. You can use Bedazzled Black, you can use black ink, whatever it is. But you want it to be a heavy black wash. Not too heavy where it looks black, but you want it to be a pretty nice heavy wash. So I use Secret Weapon Miniatures Heavy Body Black Wash. The Bedazzled Black works the same exact way. It just takes 2 to 3 coats, where the Heavy Body Black Wash takes 1. That's why I do it, to save time. And then that's it for next step. So in part 4, or whatever part's after this, I think this is part 3, but I don't remember the numbers. I didn't look before I did this video. I'm going to have the correct number in the title. So just, just step out what I'm saying accordingly if necessary. But so for part 4, what you're going to see is this guy with the green Catachan armor and washed down with the heavy body black wash. That's not the final step by any means. That's just going to get us to where we can actually finish the armor. I don't want to go too far. I don't want to skip too many steps, so I'm going to stop it there. And that's it. And then the model at that point, with that done, will be pretty much nearly halfway completed. So, anyways, I don't want this to drag on any longer than it is. This is Let's Make a Model, Dark Angels Edition. And I'm repainting Apollo to give him a paint scheme he deserves over what he had. And did the eyes, did the cloth. Up next is that green armor, which is going to be Catachan green, followed by a heavy black wash. And I'll show you that once it's done and talk about it a little bit. And until next time, take it easy.